Good morning, Purple Math students. Today we have our quiz, or tomorrow, if you're watching this, or Thursday, whenever. We're going to have a quiz sometime. So I thought I'd just help you write some notes. I always like having notes when I take a quiz because those things that I always forget that Mr. Theo told me to remember, and if I don't write them down, I don't. So, things we're going to talk about. The first thing I think that's really useful is figuring out if a table is proportional. So if I drew a quick table here, the big thing to keep in mind, and I can put in some random numbers, 7, 19, 25, is that there needs to be a relationship, a multiplication or division relationship. So in any column, and for those of you who always forget, like I do, that columns go up and down and rows go side to side, we can draw a little arrow. In any column, the top divided by the bottom, is the same. So no matter what, so if this is 1 to 3, then 2 to 6, and 19 to 57, and 25 to 75, you should just go through and say, okay, is 3 times as big as 1? Is 6 3 times as big as 2? Is 20 3 times as big? Uh-oh. 20 is not 3 times as big as 7. So this is not proportional. 57 is 3 times as big as 19. 75 is 3 times as big as 25. But 4 out of 5 is not good enough. It's got to be perfect. So in any column, the top divided by the bottom has got to be the same, or the top times the same number has got to be the bottom number. 1 times 3, 2 times 3, 19 times 3, 25 times 3, but 7 times 3 is not 20. So that's really the only solid way to figure out if a table is proportional. So that's one of the big things we want to have in our notes. How to find out if a table is proportional. Another thing we want to know how to be able to do is how to fill out a table. So once we know about proportionality, I can just draw another quick table. Again, I like to label my tables X and Y because reasons that we will get into tomorrow. 4 to 9, let's say, 2 to whatever, 8. These don't have to be in order. 12, and I should have one thing on the bottom. I don't know. Maybe 3. We'll do something crazy. So 4/9, right? So I need to know something that's the same as 4/9. So there's 2 ways to do this. Way 1, compare columns. For example, I know that 2 is half of 4, right? Times 1/2. So I could fill out this column right here by being half of 9. 4.5 is half of 9, right? The other thing that I could do, and it's trickier on this one, is I could say, okay, so 9 is 2 and 1/4 times as big, so I could compare columns, or one way is to compare columns. A second way is to find the factor. And 4 times 2 and 1/4 equals 9. So we can find what I have to do to the top number to get the bottom number. So 8 times 2 is 16, and 1/4 of 8 is 2, so this is going to be 8 to 18. 8 times 2 and 1/4. So those are the other ways. Again, going from 4 to 12, that's easy. 12 is 4 times, or is 3 times as big as 4. So the bottom is going to be 3 times as big as 9. The big thing to remember, kids, is that this is always multiplication or division. Never, ever addition or subtraction. And then to go from 3, 3 is 1/3 of 9, so I divide by 3, so I could take 4 divided by 3, and that's going to be my number on top. 4/3 or 1 and 1/3. Both work. So those are the two ways, is we could compare columns, which is what I like to do a lot, or we can figure out the factor. On this table, it's a lot easier to say, okay, 2 times 3 is 6, 19 times 3 is 57, 25 times 3 is 75, 7 times 3 should be 21. On this one, because we're multiplying by 2 1/4, and that's more difficult, it's easy to be like, oh, this is half of 4, so this should be half of 9. Or, oh, 8 is twice as big as 4, so the bottom should be twice as big as 9. Or, oh, 12 is 3 times as big. And so it depends on which one, what's going to be easiest. But remember, we're always multiplying by 1/2, by 2, by 3, by 1/3, or we're multiplying up and down. Okay? So those are two things that we should definitely know, have in our notes. Again, so if we have a table, we should be able to find an equation from a table. And I'm reusing parts of my papers because I don't want to scroll. So, and the equation from a table should be spelled right. Otherwise, Mosley is going to give me sass. He's probably going to give me sass anyway. Equation from a table. So the cool thing about your equation from a table is it doesn't matter. All you ever have to look at is one value. So the equation from a table equals top letter times bottom number equals bottom letter times top number. Hopefully your handwriting is better than me. So in this case, I would say 7y, that's equals 3x. So again, my top letter is x, that's on top, and I multiplied it by 3x. My bottom letter is y, so I'm multiplying it by my top number, 7y. Simplify if you want. Simplify if wanted. So again, I could rewrite this. I could say that this is 7/3 y. I could divide both sides by 3 equals x. Or I could say y equals 3/7 x. But this is 7y equals 3x is perfectly legitimate. So anytime you have a table, just pick one column, and cross multiply, basically. And the last skill is the same thing, equation from a situation. So just by way of example, Tina has 45 tights and 30 tops. What's the equation? I guess instead of tops, I should call them blouses, because then I'll have different, I don't even know if I know how to spell blouses. Blouses. What's the equation for tights? T. For blouses, B. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. Variable 1. In that case, that's going to be tights times number of the second number. I'm going to write the second number because that's clear. Times second number, the number of blouses, equals variable 2, B, times first number, tights. So again, we're just multiplying the two together. So tights is going to be times the number of blouses. So 30 T is going to equal 45 blouses. 45 B. And again, simplify if desired. Simplify if you want. Simplify. I'm going to write it over here because my computer is giving me issues. Simplify. So I could divide both sides by 30 and I could get tights equals 1.5 B. Because there's one set of tights for every 1.5 blouses. Is that right? So if I multiply the number of blouses by 1.5, I get the number of tights. Yeah, that is correct. Okay, that's all I have for you today, kids. Hopefully this has been helpful. Make sure you have these ready for you when we take our quiz.